Just a few days ago, I was looking in here to see if any of this stuff existed, but this stuff, I've identified it with the Picture This plant app, and this stuff is bindweed. It's got these supposedly spear shaped things, and they say that, to try and get the whole plant out, but you can simply, cut them off at ground level. So there, I got one of them out. And, well, not even the entire thing, though. I got some of the root system out. But this bindweed, it drives me nuts in this little garden, because the interesting thing about it was that I had dug this all up just a couple of years ago. And I guess that's an interesting one, where you can see that the root system will run a long way. Now, yeah, I've got other weeds in here, but they're not as annoying as the bindweed. I gotta find out what this is. I don't know what either of these weeds are, but I know they're both weeds. So while I'm picking them out, I'll do that. But this here is more of that bindweed, and this, this is better than letting it grow, right? That's, if you let it grow, it's just going to get worse. So, but it's really out of control in here. This is just one small area of this thing I got going along my driveway here. And granted, maybe it makes sense just to dig everything up and kind of set the plants up in some more organized approach. But here's where this bindweed here will grow up all the way around all these plants. I think this is a weed here. I want to find out what it is, but see, looks like it may flower. But this bindweed is nuts, man. It's freaking everywhere, and I'm getting it early, but it wraps all the way up around all the plants and kind of strangles them, really. But I don't really feel like I've got time for this kind of stuff. But here I am anyway, and this is all bindweed. I'm glad to know what it is now, but man, it is everywhere. This looks like probably more of it. It's intense, and I guess maybe it must have been in the soil before I put this soil back, because this whole section was all dug up in order to run power and plumbing lines along here. It was totally dug up. There was nothing living in here at all, and I had saved the dirt and the bulbs. So I don't know if maybe these bulbs were in here, but here's where this bindweed wraps up around itself in additional of its own plants to help it grow higher. And I think this is the approach I'm just going to continue on with, is just trying to do it this way until I get the time to, I guess, just redo this entire area again, which is definitely really frustrating to have to redo all this again. Now this stuff, not as difficult, or it's a weed and it's uglier, but it's not hard to get rid of. It's some type of thistle looking stuff that is the other main weed I seem to have in here. And again, get rid of that. So if you're into gardening, this is awesome. I never really thought I'd be into gardening, but now I've got all these gardens to take care of, and I wish I had gloves on now with those things. But there's more of it. What did I call it? Bindweed. And there it is, growing in around some of the plants. And at some point I just have to say, I've got other things to do with my life. I can't be picking these weeds all the time. Over here, More of it. More of it. And I don't know if maybe snapping it is worse than cutting it, because the instructions I saw were to cut it. Here it is over here. It's everywhere, man. Everywhere. Man, I feel like I probably ripped out 100 of them just in a couple of minutes. And most of them I have not gotten the roots. They just snap off. And this is probably more weeds, more weeds, more weeds, more weeds. I thought that maybe this came in from the mulch, because I did mulch this area with fresh mulch, but I can't remember. I think there were other areas that I mulched and do not have this. So it wasn't from the mulch, I'm pretty sure. I think it was in the soil. Man, it just goes on and on, man, forever. Yep. Dig, dig, dig. Rip, rip, rip. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know if maybe somebody who sees this will have a recommendation of, yeah, when you got that many in there, you just have to till it all, get new soil for like the top foot or something like that. Yeah, I could do this all day long, and this is just the beginning of it. Yeah, takes a lot of work.